Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Sunday Satsang. Let's begin with the prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Lord Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Lahiri Mahashaya, Swamiji Yukteswar, and our beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda, beloved friends, Swamiji, and all saints and sages, we bow before you again and again. Divine Mother, great masters of Kriya Yoga, we offer ourselves to thee, body, mind, and soul. Awaken us from this dream. Awaken devotion in our hearts. Awaken ecstasy in our souls. We are thy children, and we yearn to know thee. Receive us on thy lap. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Amen. And now we'll have our chanting.
Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, sitting in the asana of meditation, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet, thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Om Namah Shivaya, 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 Namah Shivaya. Om 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 Namah Shivaya. Today my mind has died deeply. Today my mind has died deeply. For thy pearls of love from thy depthless sea. For thy pearls of love from thy depthless sea. If I find not, I will not blame the sea. If I find not, I will not blame the sea. I will find fault with my diving. I will find fault with my diving. Today my mind has died deep in me. Today my mind has died deep in me. For thy pearls of love from thy depthless sea. For thy pearls of love from thy depthless sea. If I find not, I will not blame the sea. If I find not, I will not blame the sea. I will find fault with my diving. I will find fault with my diving. Today my mind has died deep in me. Today my mind has died deep in me. For thy pearls of love from thy depthless sea. For thy pearls of love from thy depthless sea. For thy pearls of love from thy depthless sea. For thy pearls of love from thy depthless sea.
Now let's meditate together.
Om Bhurvuvah Swaha. Om Tatsavitu Varniyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayata. Om Bhurvuvah Swaha. Om Tatsavitu Varniyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayata. Om Bhurvuvah Swaha. Om Tatsavitu Varniyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayata. Om Bhurvuvah Swaha. Om Tatsavitu Varniyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Naha Prachodayata. Om Bhurvuvah Swaha. Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurvuvah Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Bhurvuvah Swaha Om Tatsavitu Varniyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yo Nah Prachodayat Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Vandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Vandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Vandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Vandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Vandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Vandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivaranam Urvarukamiva Vandhanam Mrityo Mokshiyam Amritat Swaha Om Swaha Om Swaha Om Swaha.
Now we'll have some chanting and some meditation.
Let's begin our satsang with a prayer. Holy Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Bahiri Mahashaya, Swami Shri Yukteswarji, Beloved Guru, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, Saints of all religions, Beloved Swamiji, we bow to you again and again. Divine Mother, bless us. We yearn to be thy humble instruments, ever eager, ever enthusiastic, ever willing to please thee. Chant through us, meditate through us, fill our day with your joyous presence. And may we share the many blessings that you've given to us, the souls everywhere. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Govinda Jai Jai Gopal Jai Jai Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Radharamana Hari Govinda Jai Jai, Govinda Jai Jai, Gopal 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 Jai Jai. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. Listen, listen, listen to my heart song. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. I will never forget thee. I will never forsake thee. Who tells me thou art God, thou art my mother divine? Who tells me thou art God, my mother divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art God, my mother divine? Who tells me thou art God, my mother divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art God, my mother divine? Who tells me thou art God, my mother divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art God, my mother divine? Who tells me thou art God, my mother divine? Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Thousands of suns and moons from thy body do shine. Who tells me thou art God, my mother divine? Who tells me thou art God, my mother divine? Who tells me thou art God, my mother divine?
Now let's meditate together. Sit up straight, shoulders back, chest up, palms at the juncture of the hips and the stomach, palms up, chin parallel to the floor. Inhale and tense the body in a wave. Vibrate, relax and throw the breath out. Twice more. Now completely relax the body. Relax the feet and the legs, the hips and the stomach, the hands and the arms, chest and the shoulders, the neck and the head. Relax your face and be completely in the moment. Don't think about the past, even a minute ago. It's over. It cannot be lived again. Leave the past in the past. Forget all future thoughts, all worries, anxieties, what's going to happen, how can I do it, where will I be? Let all those thoughts go, all those thoughts. All the thoughts of the future, and be here now in the present. In this present moment, this is the moment that will create your future. And this is the moment that will erase the past. Be here now. Concentrate deeply at the point between the eyebrows. Become aware of your breath in this moment. Just relax. Just think of Divine Mother blessing you. Feel her love in your heart. Feel the Master surrounding you, meditating with you. Just in this special moment in time, this precious moment, be with Divine Mother, be with God, be with the Gurus. Open your heart and receive their love. Open yourself in this moment to the light, to the peace, and to the calmness of Divine Mother's love. Become aware of your breath. Practice the Hong Sa technique. Gently turn your eyelids upwards toward the spiritual eye with closed eyes, the seat of ecstasy in the body. And know that for just this moment, that you are aware that you are one with all that is, that you are one with God, that you always have been, and that you always will be. We'll meditate for about 10 minutes. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
This reading is from Affirmations for Self-Healing by Swami Kriyananda, entitled Renunciation. Renunciation means turning one's back on non-essentials, that we may give our whole attention to the Lord. We might think of renunciation as an investment, which initially may seem a loss, but in time becomes multiplied to many times its original worth. The least gift that we give to God will return to us in divine blessings 1,000-fold. Renunciation means nothing less than the gift to God of oneself. Renunciation is of the heart. It isn't what you wear or the outward rules you follow. When you renounce all for God, you will hold that renunciation as a precious secret between you and Him. All your desires, all your ambitions then are for Him alone. And let's affirm together, I spurn the tempting magic of this world.
I spurn the tempting magic of this world.
With its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst.
With its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst.
See where I fly.
See where I fly.
High above all the tall mountains.
High above all tall mountains.
I am free, I am free.
I am free, I am free.
I spurn the tempting magic of this world.
I spurn the tempting magic of this world.
With its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst.
With its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst.
See where I fly.
See where I fly.
High above the tall mountains.
High above the tall mountains.
I am free, I am free.
I am free, I am
A
free.
little quieter, I spurn the tempting magic of this
I
world.
spurn the tempting magic of this world.
With its rainbow bubbles ever ready to
With
burst.
its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst.
See where I fly.
See where I fly.
High above the tall mountains.
High above the tall mountains.
I am free, I am
I am
free.
free, I am free.
And whispering, I spurn the tempting magic of this world.
I spurn the tempting magic of this world.
With its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst.
Its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst.
See where I fly.
See where I fly.
High above the tall mountains.
High above the tall
I am free, I am free.
mountains.
Then silently, as I repeat aloud, I spurn the tempting magic of this world. With its rainbow bubbles ever ready to burst. See where I fly. High above the tall mountains. I am free, I am free. Lord, help me to see that in no outward experience will I ever find fulfillment. All that my heart has ever sought awaits me in Thee. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our Sunday Satsang today. This is a reading from Whispers from Eternity, the book of Poem and Prayers by Paramahansa Yogananda. Demand to see God in everything. O Father, may I behold Thee above, beneath, behind, around, wherever I turn my gaze. Train the children of my senses never to stray from Thee, who dwellest at the heart of everything. Turn my eyes inward to Thy changeless beauty. Attune my ears to silence, that I may hear Thy subtlest music. Breathe on me the heavenly scent of Thy sacred presence. Orient-wise, I will worship Thee, placing the candles of my 5 senses on the altar of my love. Thus I will contact Thee in the first pale shafts of dawn, absorb Thee in the bright light of noon, expand in Thee with the hidden glow of twilight, and merge in Thee in the silver moonlight. Always will I keep light on my inner altar, the mystic taper of my love for Thee. Well, welcome again to everyone to our Sunday Satsang. And I just this morning we're going to have a little different satsang. We're going to be listening to about a 15-minute talk from Swami Kriyananda. And a couple of weeks ago, I had talked about Swamiji and suggested that we read from his path, his autobiography. And I don't know if anybody's done that, but if you have, congratulations. But I thought it fitting that next week will be his anniversary of his discipleship with his guru, Paramahansa Yogananda. If we listen to a talk from him, and this particular talk he gave, he was in Gorgon, and this is when he was doing his talks on the sadhana channel. He did one for every day of the year. And this one is particularly interesting and beautiful and heart-opening, because when Swami came to India, he had such a strong desire to get people here to awaken to their higher selves, to take Kriya Yoga, to embrace these gurus into their lives, to get going on their spiritual life. He had such a desire. He really felt Master wanted him to come to India, and he would talk about it all the time. And so this is one of the first talks that he gave when he came to Gorgon. And if you would close your eyes and just listen, feel Divine Mother flowing through him during this talk, because he is really admonishing us and trying to wake us up to the fact that time is going by and we need to find God now, that the time for finding God is now. And it's a very beautiful talk, and I wanted to share it with you today. And then afterwards, the singers will sing a song. It's called Walk Like a Man. And it's about actually your individual quest and your individual sincerity in your love for God. So let's listen to the talk, and then I'll come back after that. Okay, Harish, you can put the talk on now.
Sure, Romaji.
Jai Ma, 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 Jai Ma. The Divine Mother in all of you, I bow to her. Actually, all of us ought to keep a thought in our minds. We may be Shiva Bhaktas, Ram Bhaktas, Krishna Bhaktas. Always keep a corner in your heart for the Divine Mother, because that aspect of God is, the Mother is closer than the Father. The Father aspect of God is more watchful, more distant. Krishna came on earth to show a kind of lila of love, but that love was always, in his case, impersonal. You know, one time he and Radha were walking in the forest, and Krishna got an intuitive understanding that she was beginning to think of him as her own. And to teach her a lesson, he said, "Are you tired? Would you like me to carry you?" Oh, she was so pleased. She said, "Yes, Lord." So he said, "Stoop over, I'll jump on your back." He jumped on her back, and she jumped on his back, and he disappeared, and she fell flat on her face. And then when she said, "Lord, I'm so sorry, please forgive me, I understand," he manifested himself again, and they went walking through the forest. But divine love is not personal. Never can you have that thought that you own somebody. And Krishna, also in the Rasha Leela, it was, as my guru explained, that it was really incarnated rishis in those forms of the gopis. That love was not what human consciousness has made it. It was always pure divine love. There was nothing of romance in it. And even the Rasha Leela, which is a moment of supreme romance, you might think, nevertheless, it was all God, dancing with God. And when you learn to dance with God in His joy, it's a wonderful Leela. But to remember the Divine Mother is also beautiful, because in that memory you remember somebody whose whole love goes to you, is only interested in taking care of, who accepts you, sinner or no, or saint, it doesn't matter. She loves all equally. When I met my guru, there was, I had come all the way from New York, that's 3,000 miles nearly, and the woman at the desk there said that his appointments were completely booked for 2 months. And I was crushed. I mean, I'd come all that way. And I was sort of, I had not been accustomed to meeting setbacks in my life. And I decided, well, maybe I'm just not ready. So I'll get a job and I'll live near here and I'll come when I can. And when he's ready to see me, then he will see me. Well, at that moment, I was just about to leave when the secretary came over to me and she said, since you've come from such a distance, I will ask him. And when he saw me, he said to me, I want you to know it wasn't because you came from so far away. Divine Mother told me to see you. Divine Mother figured very largely in my training under him. Divine Mother is my own personal Ishtadevata, you might say. And I want to add one thought. Many people think that to live in an ashram is when they can finally seek God in earnest. That is not true. God can come to you wherever you are. There's a story that I want to read from Conversations with Yogananda. It's a very short story, perhaps a good compensation for last time when I read a long story. Master said, it isn't enough merely to live in this holy place, Mount Washington. Some people who live here waste their time playing the organ and engaging in other idle pursuits. There are many rats and mice in the canyon on this property. They are not progressing spiritually. To develop in spirit, you have to make a deep individual effort. Remember, it's always a matter between you and God, and your environment won't do it for you. I lived in Vashishta Guha, the cave up where Rishi Vashishta used to live, or near it. And I was there for 4 weeks. And I saw some of the monks lying there sleeping all the time. So they're in a spiritual place. That's not going to give it to them. Don't think that just by visiting holy shrines that you're going to get there. Remember Ganesha, when his divine parents told him to go on pilgrimage, went around his parents 3 times, and that was his pilgrimage. You don't have to go here or go there. Go to God in your own heart. That's the highest pilgrimage. People who go panting, rushing here and rushing there, and then thinking they've accomplished something. Maybe they get a certain amount of good karma. Well, what good is good karma if you can go on getting bad karma? In other words, you've got their ego. It's not enough to have good karma. You have to reach the point of having no karma. Yes, when my guru met me, he said, you have good karma, therefore I accept you. Yes, it's karma that brings you up to that point. But finally, just like a thorn in the flesh, if you take another thorn, you can throw both thorns away. Remove the one and get rid of both of them. So good karma helps to overcome bad karma. But in the end, you want to get rid of all karma by thinking, he alone is the door. Don't think, meanwhile, well, when I have time, then I will meditate more. Well, when I have time and am free, maybe I will go and live in an ashram. Don't imagine that the gates will clang shut and suddenly you'll be in heaven. Don't imagine that there'll be suddenly this big change and you'll be a saint. It doesn't work like that. But it does work with that kind of determination, a wonderful determination that was shown by one of the great saints of South India. His name was Sadashiva. You may know his story. One time, when he was a young man, he was living in his parents' house. And he was studying and meditating, when one day there was a lot of commotion in the house, and he said, well, what's all this commotion about? They said, well, we're preparing for the arrival of your bride-to-be. And he thought about it. He thought, well, if only her coming is able to create so much commotion. What will her arrival be like? And he left by the back door and never went home again. That kind of determination is what it takes to seek God. One time he was a very intelligent young man and could best anybody in argument. And he was arguing with an older man, and the older man was losing the argument, as usually happened. And his guru said to him, to Sadashiva, "When will you learn to hold your tongue?" Sadashiva said, "Instantly, Master, if I have your blessings." From then on, he never spoke another word. This kind of determination is what it takes. When I hear so many people say, well, when I'm old enough, when I retire, then I will go. What will you go to the Himalayas with? A big trunk full of all your memories. That's not the way to do it. You've got to, as Lahiri Mahashaya, my Param Guru, used to say, make friends with God in the summer of your life if you want Him to be with you in the winter of your life. But it doesn't matter when you come to Him. You know, there was an old woman in Seattle, Washington, in America. She had been an atheist all her life. When she met Guruji, somehow his presence completely converted him. It wasn't his argument. It was that in his presence she could feel, yes, God was real. She spent the rest of her life, and you can imagine it was not very long. She had an orange cloth that she always looked at, and marigold flowers, which are orange, to remind her of the color of his robe. She played a recording of his God, 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 and did everything she could to always remember him. He told me that in this life, that life, she found freedom. You don't have to worry. I mean, yes, it would be wonderful if you could start young, but whenever you start from then on, give it your energy. Don't just think, well, it takes time. Yes, it takes time. Why let it take time? It doesn't have to. I said to my guru one time, because somebody had a vision of being with him many thousands of years ago, and I was rather horrified. I said, Master, have I been your disciple for thousands of years? He said, it's been a long time, that's all I'll say. I was a little appalled. I didn't want to think I was the only laggard, so I said, well, sir, does it always take so long? He said, yes. Desires for name, fame, this thing and that thing, take them away again and again until finally they learn their lesson. So, yes, it can take a long time. Yes, it does take a long time, but who knows how long you've had before this, the only time needed, because we're living in timelessness. There's no such thing as time, really. The only thing you really need is to reach the point finally where you say, no, I really want God and I want nothing else. I was with a brother disciple. He'd always had sort of a bent to be a scientist. And he met somebody who was a scientist and said that, oh, you could have been a great scientist. That was all it took. I could be a great scientist, eh? That simple thought took him off the path. Not into science, unfortunately, but took him off the path. It fed his ego. Little things can feed your ego. Don't underestimate the power of delusion. But if you really know that what you want is that truth alone, not your ego, the time will come, and why shouldn't it come right now? Just say, I want God, I want nothing else, and just cut through it all. Like a story Ramakrishna used to tell of a woman who went to her husband. She said, I'm worried about my brother. He's talking of renouncing the world. And her husband said, well, what is he doing to prepare for it? Oh, he's giving up things one by one and trying to reduce his income and reduce his possessions. And the husband said, oh, he'll never do it that way. She said, well, what do you mean? How should he do it? The husband said like this. He took off everything but his kopin. He bowed to his wife. He said, from now on, I look upon you as my mother. Left the room and left the house and never came back. Now that kind of determination, I don't recommend to everybody, because if it's an emotional thing, then he'll come back to his wife or one other wife. That's a mistake people make sometimes. I don't mean to be harebrained in your search, but I mean to be that kind of determined that you don't think when, but think now. And if that now means taking one step, okay. My guru had a vision one time. He was standing in a very dusty marketplace, and people were bargaining and shouting, and there were dogs running everywhere and cows. And every now and then someone would come and stand in front of him, look at a place above him, and would say, oh, this look of inexpressible yearning came over his or her face. And then always the answer was, well, it's much too high for me. And they would go back and go on their affairs. Finally, my guru looked around and he saw that behind him there was this beautiful mountain. And at the top of this mountain there was the most beautiful garden. And his first thought was, oh, that's where I want to live. And the first thought came to him then, well, but it's so high. But instead of thinking it's too high for me, he said, well, but at least I can put one foot in front of the other. And he put one foot in front of the other and finally reached the mountaintop. That's what you have to do. Don't think, oh, well, I'm not on that level. You can put one foot in the front of the other. You may see yourself as very imperfect. There was a story of a Bengali disciple of Master's who was too restless and joking all the time. And my guru said to him, why do you joke so much? You keep people light. Be more serious. And the disciple said, well, I would like to be more serious, sir, but how can I do it? How can I change without your blessings? When I've told that story to Indian audiences, they say, oh, what a beautiful answer. Well, they didn't like his answer. When Guruji answered him, he said, my blessings are with you already. God's blessings are there. It's your blessings that are lacking. You have to bless yourself. God, don't say, well, wait till God wants you. He wants you now. Don't say, well, when I find a guru, if you want God deeply enough, he will send you a guru. Don't think you have to go running around looking for a guru. God will send him. I can give my experience that way. All the way from New York to Los Angeles, my first words were, I want to be your disciple. A young American boy without any thought of following anybody. I was such a rebel, I left college because I thought these fools can't teach me anything that I want. Dignified professors. I don't think I really called them fools, but they weren't what I wanted. When I met him, I knew that was what I wanted. When you meet your guru, you will know. But make that decision right now, this moment. Why waste time? I mean, you're listening to this talk, and I'm trying to get you to do this, and instead of thinking, yeah, it's not a bad idea. Well, maybe next Thursday I'll have some time to think about it. Think about it now. Do it now. You can find God, and you can find him quickly. It's never a question of how long. Time doesn't exist. You know, a friend of mine a friend of mine, I should say, went to the Bhrigu Samhita in Hoshiarpur. And in that Bhrigu Samhita, it said, while this is being read, there will be a thunderclap in the sky. The sky was completely blue. No sign of rain clouds, nothing. Just as that passage was read, there was a loud thunderclap. Bhrigu, living thousands of years ago, could easily come forward in time because time doesn't exist. The masters come and go in time. Don't think in terms of time. It's really a delusion. When you live truly in the eternal now, and why not in my lessons, the material success through yoga principles, there was one lesson that I wrote was a lot of fun for me, but very difficult. It took me several weeks of meditating on it to see how could I bring this high yoga principle of timelessness into the marketplace, into the bazaar, into the business office. But I succeeded. And in fact, we can live in timelessness even now. I've discovered that in my life, that when I had to do something that I thought would take me a year or 2 years, if the time I had to do it was very short, God gave me the understanding to be able to do it right then. That's happened to me again and again. And thus I speak from my own experience. You can banish time if you can bring timelessness into your own work. So many people, like the American Indians, pass a peace pipe and deliberate slowly. You'll never get real answers that way. Put your mind up here at the point between the eyebrows. Send energy to God. Create a magnetic field that will attract to you by your willpower what you want. And remember that the goal of life is to be yourself. Walk like a man. Act like choro.
Walk like a man, even though you walk alone. Why court approval once the road is known? Let come who will, but if they all turn home, the goal still awaits you. Go on alone.
Follow your dream, though it lead to worlds unknown. Life's but a shadow, once our dreams have flown. What if men cry, your dream is not our own? Your soul knows the answer. Go on alone.
Give life your heart, bless everything that's grown. Fear not the loving, all this world's your own. Make rich the soil, but once the seed is sown, seek freedom, don't linger. Go on alone. Walk like a man, even though you walk alone. Why court approval once the road is known? Let come who will, but if they all turn home, the goal still awaits you. Go on alone. Go on alone. Go on alone.
Well, that was a beautiful talk. And I remember so often, Haridas and I were there in Gorgon with Swamiji when he was giving these talks. And he was so insistent and so much wanted his life's work to be helping people to find God. That's all. Everything he did was for that one purpose. And underneath all of that was his devotion to his guru. And he knew when he asked Master to be if he could be his disciple, that his life would change drastically. And he let the past go completely. He completely let go, and he went forward with his guru, hand in hand, into perfect freedom. Master said that he would find God in this lifetime. And we don't have to do outward things. We don't have to be great. We don't have to write books or sing songs or create songs or do a great work. Mother Teresa said, do little things with great love. And we all find ourselves every day of our lives in the position of doing little things because we think of them as little because we don't give our lives the importance that it deserves. Our lives, every moment, deserves enthusiasm, it deserves concentration, it deserves devotion, and it deserves love. Every moment of our lives. Don't dismiss your life. Don't dismiss the days of your life. Don't dismiss the experiences. Don't dismiss the people in your life. Because these are the vehicles. These are the ways that Divine Mother is coming to you, your individual self, yourself. And when you begin to realize that through deep meditation and an attitude of seeing God doing everything, when you begin to realize that, you look at your life as a blessing, as a wonderful gift wrapped up with Divine Mother's love. This is what our lives are about. Each one of us has the perfect situation to find God. We don't need to go anywhere. Like Swami was saying in that talk, run to the temples, run here, run there, read this, the internet, that, this spiritual path, that guru, this saint. You don't have to go anywhere. Just like Swami said, when you want your guru, and that means when you really want God, when you have renounced your way of thinking that you are in charge and you are creating your life, when you have finally come to the decision, nothing else will suffice. I want God. I want to know who I am. I want to know. Then your guru will come. God sends the guru when you're sincere and he feels your sincerity. It doesn't matter where you go, where you find yourself, in the darkest dungeon, in a prison, in the greatest poverty, in the highest wealth, in the most beautiful high rise, and wherever you find yourself. When you want God, the guru will come. And when the guru comes, you realize that relationship has been forged in eternity. He will never leave you. He has never left you. He's been watching over you the whole time, waiting for you to have this feeling in your heart that now is the time. Like Swami said, now is the time. Find God now. Don't wait. He told these wonderful stories about renunciation, and he said, they're wonderful stories because they depict the absolute energy and commitment that you need to be able to find God in this life. But he said, don't be foolish and run out the door and think that you're going to leave your karma behind you. You're not. Our karma has come to us, and it's perfectly designed by God and Guru to help us find God. We can't really change that part of our lives, but we can accept the blessings from the Guru, and we can accept the techniques and the ways that he has given us and the discipline. We can accept his love through all of the teachings and the support that he gives us with our spiritual family. We can accept that and then work through your karma with the Guru. It becomes so much lighter. You begin to understand why the karma. What was I doing to attract this in my life? What am I going to do from now on? How am I going to change right now so that I don't create this situation again in the future? This is why timelessness is so important, and being in the now, being here, and just accepting, just saying, thank you, God. Thank you for my life. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the awareness of your presence within my heart. Thank you for the wonderful souls in my life that are helping me, either negative or positive. Ones I understand, ones I don't. Thank you for them. Because with your help and with your grace, and through all of these times in my life, this is when I'm going to find God. And it won't be over there. It won't be in the past, it'll be right now. If we could only see our lives that way and only be grateful, then we would be able to help others to be grateful also. Isn't it interesting? My daughter was talking to me about many years back about some trauma that she was going through, and it was horrible, and how she was ever going to live through it, and how life is so awful. And so she just was, pretty distressed. And I just said to her, honey, Rose, what would you say to somebody who came to you with this exact same problem, with this exact same situation? What would you say to them? How would you help them? She said, well, I tell them this, I tell them that. And I said, oh, really? I said, that's exactly what I would tell you. So we know the answers, because when we are in tune with our higher selves, and when we step back from these traumas in our life and these dark situations, when we step back and we're able to perceive just a dream happening and able to help somebody else with the wisdom that you have gained, all of a sudden your burden is lightened and you understand. This is how it works. If you center too much on yourself, then you become self-involved. But if you can think of others and say, oh, I know what to do in that situation. I've experienced that before. This is why negative experiences and relationships that are broken and all of the sad things that happen to us, we learn from them. We work through the karma by helping others with the same situation. And God will send you those people. And all of a sudden you'll say the right thing and you'll think, wow, I have that wisdom. Well, where did it come from? It came from your receptivity, and it came from the Guru, and it came from Divine Mother. And in those moments, those precious moments, you begin to realize, okay, I can do this. I can go forward. I can move forward. And I'm going to find God in this lifetime. That should be our mantra. Yesterday, we had classes, and so many things happened in the weekend. We don't really all know, but we had a level 2 class. Many people came to the class, and it was a wonderful session. And there was a level 1 class, people coming to learn meditation. And the instructors, the teachers for that, were both very happy with the class and just so willing and wonderful with the people. Then we had the children and Sunday school with our Sunday school teachers, so creative and enthusiastic. All of these things are happening. And we think, okay, well, this is on the schedule and that happens and that happens. We tend to dismiss what is happening here at Ananda all over the world. We're helping people to tune into their higher selves, to find joy, to find happiness. And that means to find God. What a blessing. What a blessing this life is. What a high dharma that is. And none of these people, they didn't quit their jobs, walk out the door, leave their wives and renounce the world. No, they said, yes, I will be an instrument. I will try to my very best of my ability to be an instrument for God and Guru in this moment. And they shared their wisdom, and they shared what they knew, and they opened people's hearts. That's the essence of the spiritual path. And I'm not saying you just have to do it through teaching. You do it through every moment, every relationship in your life. We must take our lives more seriously and forget why we can't, how hard it is, impossible, compare yourselves to others. Let those thoughts go. Because in God's eyes, we're all the same. In the Divine Mother's eyes, she loves us all equally. And we are supported, and we are loved by such a force. You know, recently I saw a picture of Anandamoy Ma. I love Anandamoy Ma. And she had flowers at the top of her head and wrapped all around her body. She looked like a garden. They had put flowers all over her body. You couldn't even see her body. And she was just in ecstasy. She was just, and thousands of people were there. And she didn't say a word. But I looked at that picture, and I too, my consciousness was so uplifted. And I just thought, oh this is what I want. This is how I want to be. I just want to be sitting and feeling the presence of God, and in the moment, just filled with that bliss. This is what I want. This is what we all want. This is what our souls are yearning for. And Anandamoy Ma, she used to say the most beautiful things, but Swamiji was very close to her. And when he was going through a very hard time in his life, when he had left the organization and wanted to die, actually, he didn't know how he could live without knowing how to serve his Guru. She just looked at him and said, take it as the grace of your Guru. Take it as the grace of your Guru. And this is an example for us, because the saints know that all of the hard times in our life, they're there for us to grow, and it's all grace. It's all Divine Mother. And she's there every single minute of the day, helping us get through, sending us positive thoughts, giving us friendship, opening doors for us, opening our hearts. She's there. Never for a moment is she not. And just as Ananda Ma, she used to say, people would say, oh, the world is falling apart. And she'd say, don't you know that Divine Mother who made this world, doesn't she know how to take care of it? And we should remember those words, because she does know, and she does take care of us. So maybe this week we can meditate more deeply, open our hearts more widely to the grace of the Guru, and just feel that we're really happy to be here, because we can be instruments for what we know. We know as much as we know. And God will awaken us as He sees fit. God will awaken us. And it's gradual, and then all of a sudden, we're going to be like Ananda Ma, just filled with bliss, surrounded by beauty, and knowing beyond a shadow of a doubt that we are loved, and we will share that love just by being who we are as divine children of Divine Mother. So God bless you, and now we will have our Aarti.
Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, 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 Jai Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai 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 Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Now, for those of you who would like, we would like to offer a blessing from the Masters. And as you receive the blessing, offer a prayer of gratitude to the infinite Christ, in whose love our line of Masters have descended, that we might all come to God. And pray too for the grace to share with all as you have received, for you are a part of all that is. May the light of the great Masters shine upon you. Shanti, Shanti. Now let's close with the healing prayer and call to mind all of those that you know who are in need of healing in their bodies, their minds, their souls. include souls everywhere in need, include this planet, and fill every heart with Divine Mother's love. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent, thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, in all minds, and in all souls. Shanti, shanti. Go out with joy.